All right, Browns fans, hold on to your helmets. Something potentially massive is brewing right here in the AFC North, and if it goes down, it could send shockwaves through the entire conference, directly impacting the Cleveland Browns' path back to chasing a Super Bowl. We're talking about a move that could see a key piece of our defense potentially shipped out, not because he's a bad player, but because the front office is making tough, strategic calls for the future. It's a power play, a calculated risk, and it shines a bright light on where the Browns truly believe they are in their competitive window. So, what exactly is going on? You know how the NFL offseason is a constant whirlwind of rumors, speculation, and moves that make you scratch your head? Well, this year is absolutely no different. The Cleveland Browns, a team we've seen building steadily, adding talent, and making significant investments, are now reportedly looking at their roster with a microscope, asking the hard questions about who fits into the long-term vision. And according to some significant reports, including one from Zach Jackson over at The Athletic, the Browns might be considering trading away a player we've grown used to seeing on the boundary, cornerback Greg Newsome II. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Greg Newsome? But he's a first-round pick. He's been a starter. He's made big plays. And you're absolutely right. He has been a reliable presence in our secondary, flashing that high-level talent we expected when he was drafted. But here's the cold, hard truth about the NFL. It's a business built on asset management and future planning. Greg Newsome is entering the final year of his rookie contract. And while he's shown brilliance, his 2023 season had moments of inconsistency that maybe didn't quite meet the sky-high expectations. He's still young, still talented, still has a ton of potential with great size and athleticism. But with that final year looming, the Browns brass might be looking at the landscape and thinking, do we pay him top dollar next year? Or is there a strategic advantage to exploring the trade market now instead of risking losing him for absolutely nothing in free agency? This isn't necessarily a judgment on Newsome's ability. It's a look at the roster through the lens of resource allocation. The front office might believe this current phase is less about pushing all in right now and more about positioning the team for sustained contention over the next several years. That means looking for value, whether it's through the draft, cap space, or acquiring future assets for players who might not be in long-term plans or who could fetch a significant return. Newsome, being a valuable player on an expiring deal, lands squarely in that spotlight. His value might have dipped slightly after an inconsistent season, but he's still highly regarded around the league as a young, starting-caliber corner. And guess what? There are teams out there desperate for secondary help, teams looking to make a playoff push, or even teams in their own rebuilds looking for young talent. Zach Jackson specifically mentioned a couple of teams that could be serious contenders to land Newsome, the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's break down why they make sense. First, the Carolina Panthers. They're coming off a rough season where their defense was frankly abysmal at times. Head coach Dave Canales is trying to inject life into that team, particularly building around young quarterback Bryce Young. They've made investments in the offense, but the defense still needs major work, especially in the secondary. They've brought back guys like J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson, but they need more depth and talent. Newsome could slot in perfectly as a high-quality outside corner, potentially allowing Horn to shadow top guys and Jackson to work inside. For Carolina, adding a player like Newsome would give them a versatile, talented corner group they haven't had, which is crucial in an NFC South that feels wide open. It's about building a foundation, and Newsome fits the profile of a player they can potentially build with. Then you have the Los Angeles Chargers. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations, led by the cannon-armed Justin Herbert. They've been aggressive trying to improve their offensive line and running game, but the defense, specifically the secondary, has had its moments of vulnerability. They've added some pieces, sure, but they still need more consistent playmakers and depth, especially against the explosive offenses they face in the AFC, and particularly in their own division against teams like the Kansas City Chiefs. Greg Newsome's skill set, quick, agile, good in coverage, aligns perfectly with what a team like the Chargers needs to complement their existing pieces. Imagine Newsome lining up on the other side, providing sticky coverage against elite receivers. That's a difference maker in those tight, high-stakes games that decide playoff spots and Super Bowl runs. The Chargers are trying to break the Chiefs' stranglehold on the AFC West, and adding a piece like Newsome could be that extra edge they need. But let's bring it back home to Cleveland. As tough as it might be to see Newsome go, this potential move isn't just about one player's performance. It's about the Browns' strategic vision. This team is investing in young talent, making tough decisions and
Cleveland's
positioning
defensive
itself for
backfield is in a
long-term
bit of a
success
transition.
in the most brutal division
The
in
team
football.
has invested
The
heavily in their
AFC North,
secondary
with the
over the
Ravens,
past couple of
Steelers, and
seasons,
Bengals, is a
but there's
constant
always
heavyweight
room for
fight.
improvement.
To compete year in
Players
and
like
year
Denzel
out, the
Ward
Browns
and
need
Greg
to be
Newsome
smart,
have been the
adaptable,
cornerstones.
and sometimes
But with the
bold.
NFL leaning
Trading
more
Newsome
and
could be
more
part of a
into
larger
explosive
plan to
passing
acquire
games,
assets, likely
having
draft
versatile
picks,
and
maybe a
reliable
mid-round
cover
pick
men
or
is
future
crucial.
selection, possibly even
Moving
some depth
Newsome
players
might
that
open
could
the
be
door
used to
for
fill
younger
other
players
needs,
or new
strengthen the roster
acquisitions
in
to step
multiple
up.
areas,
But it
or
also
continue building
signals
through
that
the
the Browns
draft.
are focused
The
on
defensive
building a
backfield
defense
is
that can
always in
contend for
flux
years
in the
to
modern
come.
NFL,
And
given how
let's
much
not
teams
forget,
pass.
this is just
While
one piece
Denzel
of the
Ward is a
puzzle.
cornerstone, and the team has
Cleveland's
invested
overall
heavily in the
strategy is to
secondary
build depth,
recently,
develop
moving
talent,
Newsome would
and
open up
create a
opportunities
roster
for
that can
younger
compete with
players
the
or
best
new
in the league.
acquisitions to step
The
up.
AFC North
It's a
is
signal
no
that the
joke.
Browns are
Teams like the Baltimore
prioritizing
Ravens,
roster flexibility
Pittsburgh Steelers,
and continuous
Cincinnati
improvement
Bengals are all
across the
formidable.
board. Every
The
single
Browns
move
need
the
to be
Browns
smart,
make, from
strategic,
free
and
agency
sometimes
signings
bold
to
to
draft
rise
picks
to
to
the top.
potential trades like this
Trading a
one,
player
is
like
ultimately
Newsome could be a
about
key
building a
move in that
roster
direction,
capable of competing for the
especially if the
ultimate
return.
prize. The front office is looking at how to best allocate resources to maximize those chances in the coming years. Browns fans, we've seen this team grow, we've seen the progress, and we know the passion of this fan base. Moves like this, while potentially difficult to swallow at first glance, are part of the journey. They're part of building that championship foundation. The upcoming season is filled with anticipation. The young core is exciting, the coaching staff is pushing hard, and there's genuine optimism around Berea. Whether Newsome stays or goes, the focus remains sharp: build a winner. And now, I want to hear directly from you, the heart of the Dog Pound. What's your take on this potential Greg Newsome trade? Do you think moving him now for future assets is the smart play for the Browns' long-term success? Or do you believe he's too important to this defense and should be part of the plan moving forward? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Your voice is incredibly important. Before you go, if you love the Cleveland Browns and want to stay on top of every single development, every rumor, every strategic move that impacts our team's Super Bowl hopes, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Browns Breakout. Join our community, share this video with your fellow Dog Pound members, and let's keep this conversation going. We're in this together. Stay tuned for more updates, because things are always happening with our Browns, and we'll be here breaking it all down. Keep that passion alive, Cleveland. The future is bright, even if it comes with some tough decisions along the way.